the house is burning, but we're still sitting in the glow. Phones charged, lights on, pretending we don't know. But the forest is silent, the river's running low, and the flame on our plates is the strongest fire we throw. Put out the fire, put out the fire. Echoes and rise, this is your hour. 7 boundaries broken, the earth pushed past the line. Climate, land, species, fresh water, chemicals, nutrients, oceans in decline. Not danger, disaster in real time. Put out the fire, ooh, put out the fire. Metafoodians rise, this is your power. And here in India, one truth stands the same. Milk is not just milk, dairy feeds the flame. Cows and methane, fields and forests turn to grain. Politics, culture, carbon, all wired to the same chain. Every cup of curd is heat in the air, every block of butter is a forest repair. It's not a small habit, it's a planetary affair. Put out the fire, put out the fire. Echoes and rise, this is our hour. Energy fixes half the hurt, Dr. Rao made that clear. But food fixes the other half, the half that's burning here. Change the plate, change the land, change the future's atmosphere. Put out the fire, put out the fire. Metafoodians unite, this is your choir. Every millet, every fruit, every sapseed, every bean is water on the wildfire of a world we've never seen. Every oil-free bite is a river turning clean. This is not perfection, it's direction. Not pressure, but protection. A week of choices can cool a generation. A company's courage can ignite a nation. Put out the fire, ooh, put out the fire. Echoes and rise, this is your hour. Metafoodians unite, Metafoodians ignite, sharing love in the metazone, light in the path to a cooler home. Put out the fire, ooh, put out the fire. Together we rise, together we inspire.
Welcome to the Planet B podcast, where truth, transformation, and faith converge. Join us as we flip the script on ecological despair, guided by Dr. Sailesh Rao's vision for a compassionate, rewilded vegan world. Let's begin the journey to the greatest transformation in human history.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to episode 22 of the Planet B podcast, the self-transformation. Dr. Rao, thanks for being back once again.
Well, thank you for hosting this.
It's a pleasure. It's a pleasure. So please, if you don't mind, let's start with the opening quote.
Yeah, the opening quote is by the former president or director of the World Health Organization, Dr. Margaret Chan. And she said, "A healthy planet and healthy people are two sides of the same coin." Basically, self-healing and planetary healing are tied together. So if you want a healthy planet, if that's our objective, then we need to make sure that all human beings are healthy as well. You can't have, all these chronic diseases rampant if you want a healthy planet. So which means self-transformation and planetary transformation, system transformation are all tied together. What is health? Health just means that you are completely in alignment with nature, both not only physically whole, but also mentally, emotionally, and spiritually healthy. And I consider this to be like the oxygen mask rule. If you want to help other species, you have to first become healthy yourself. So you have to put on your own oxygen mask first before helping others.
Wow. So that goes into my first question, or really it's a statement that comes from your book. And what you say is sick people are not going to care about a sick planet. And conversely, a sick planet creates more sick people.
Correct. Yeah. It's a cycle, no? When we allow sickness and when we promote sickness in the system, which, as we discussed earlier, the system promotes diseases. It
Right.
deliberately, addicts people into compulsive behaviors. That's not good for them. When you do that, you create a sick planet and vice versa. So a sick planet creates sicker people. So you create this feedback loop that's going in the wrong direction of more and more sickness. So we have to now reverse that and create an upward spiral of healthy people and a healthier planet. And it starts with healthy people. So personally, you have to become healthier. So I've started working on myself first. You can't be working on healing the planet if you're not healthy. So we each have to become responsible for our own physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual health. So you have to take responsibility for that and say, okay, I am going to become healthy. And only then will I be able to help others become healthy. So I started off by looking at, okay, what are the risky behaviors that have been encouraged in the system? And fortunately, the American College of Lifestyle Medicine had already listed these 8 risky behaviors
Right.
that are responsible for 15 chronic diseases and 90% of the healthcare costs. And these 8 risky behaviors are the poor diet, physical inactivity, that's basically lack of exercise. And then third is smoking. So they are listed in order of importance. And Dr. McDougall told me that poor diet is responsible for at least half of the costs. If you assign responsibility to each individual factor, he would put more than half the cost coming from poor diet, because the standard American diet is being promoted everywhere in the world. And the standard American diet, the SAD diet, is a diet that promotes sickness in people. And Americans are being exploited, right, by the system. And the system is saying, okay, if we want to grow, everybody needs to be like America. Every country needs to be like America. So the standard American diet is being promoted everywhere. That's how you grow this economy, the sickness economy. So first is to get to a healthy diet. Then physical inactivity is the second reason for these 15 chronic diseases, lack of exercise. Third is smoking. Fourth is lack of health screening. So people don't go to the doctor, Then fifth is poor stress management. It's because people are anxious all the time and their anxiety is promoted. It's actually stoked through social media also. You create more and more anxiety, tell you you're not good enough. It's done systematically. So it's poor stress management is the fifth risky behavior. And the sixth is insufficient sleep. People don't sleep well. And that's causing these chronic diseases. Then seventh is poor standard of care. Even when you're sick and you go to a doctor, the doctor is not treating you for the right diseases. You're giving people all these drugs, and these drugs cause all kinds of side effects. It becomes like a toxic mess. So that poor standard of care is the seventh risky behavior.
All right.
That's responsible for 90% of the healthcare costs. And the last is excessive alcohol and drug consumption. That's the eighth risky behavior.
Yeah.
So when the American College of Lifestyle Medicine listed these 8 risky behaviors, why don't we just do the exact opposite,
Right.
right? And it turned out that it's similar to the 6 pillars of lifestyle medicine, what you get when you do the exact opposite.
Where are those 6 pillars from?
The American College of Lifestyle Medicine has the 6 pillars of lifestyle medicine. First
Okay.
is nutrition. So everyone should get proper nutrition. Second is physical activity. The third is stress management. So knowing how to deal with stress. Fourth is restorative sleep. And then fifth is social connection, what they call social connection, which is having a good community support. And sixth is avoidance of risky substances.
All right.
So these are the 6 pillars of lifestyle medicine. And lifestyle medicine doctors are trained to help their patients, manage these 6 pillars. But it turns out that if you take the 8 risky behaviors and do the exact opposite, you get not only the 6 pillars, you get 2 additional pillars. You get from poor diet to healthy diet. So that's the nutrition pillar.
So let's go through these one by one, and you can kind of explain what they look like on planet B. So if you don't mind, let's begin with that number one. So number one
Right.
is going away from poor diet to what you call the food healers diet.
Correct. Yeah. So I call it the food healers diet because it's a whole food, plant-based meals that are nutritionally balanced. So in food healers, we talk about making sure that every meal has an adequate amount of greens, vegetables, and beans, and legumes, and grains, and spices. So this way you cover all the nutritional needs. It should be a complete meal, having like a rainbow in each meal.
When something tastes good, I mean, people think it's maybe from oil or, people are addicted to cheese and animal meat, but what really makes us feel satiated when we're eating these, delicious whole food plant-based meals?
Yeah, see, naturally, our body seeks out things with salt, or things with oil or fat, because these are rare, in
Mm,
nature, right? So seeks it out and says, oh, wow, let me just store that because I may need it,
right.
right? So think about eating nuts in nature. Like if you have to eat a walnut, you have to first break the shell
Yeah,
and then eat the inside. So how many walnuts could you possibly eat?
it's a lot of work.
It's a lot of work, right? So this
Yeah.
is why, when we see an abundance of that, our body craves it. And
Mm,
unfortunately, the corporations are using that natural phenomenon that makes our body seek out those things. The corporations are using that to sell more of their products because that's the system we have created. It's not their fault, okay? We created a system saying that you have to keep growing.
right.
And to keep growing, they're going to want more and more people to consume their products.
Yeah.
So which means they'll figure out how to make you buy it, make you consume it. So loading up foods with oil and salt and sugar makes us consume more of it.
Yeah.
Because even sugar, our body seeks it out because, ripe fruit is rare. When the fruit
Yeah.
is ripe, you better eat it, you know, right? So in nature. So this is
Yeah.
why, we have that in our systems. We get satiated from a taste perspective when we exercise every part of our tongue.
Mm,
So you have to have a combination of sweet, sour, astringent, all of the taste, like even a little bit of bitter. So we normally seek out a little bit of bitter vegetables and eat them, bitter gourd
mm,
and eat them. And the idea there is that you have to have that variety of taste in order to get the balanced nutrition in your body. But we are satiated in our stomach when we fill our stomach with fiber mostly. you look at how much food you can eat in terms of volume. So our stomach says it's full when it's full in volume,
Hmm.
right? Now, if you eat oil, fatty substances, a lot of that, then when you fill your stomach, you would have eaten a whole lot more calories than you really will be using. And that excess calories in the form of fat gets stored. So when you eat food without fiber, fiber has no calories whatsoever. It's basically food for your bacteria in your stomach.
Hmm.
Okay. So it keeps your gut microbiome healthy, which is why you have to eat fiber. And since fiber has no calories, it has volume and it fills up your stomach without increasing the total amount of calories you're eating.
Right.
This is why when you eat vegetables and fruits, you don't put on weight. Like you put on weight with fat. But if you eat a lot of sugar, that sugar has a lot of calories, so that then all the fat can be stored.
Hmm.
So this is why when we eat processed foods with a lot of sugar, you put on weight and you think it's the sugar that's caused the weight, but it's not the sugar. It's only the fat that you store.
Right. And that's why it's important when we even transition to a fully vegan diet that we're focused on the whole food, plant-based
Correct.
foods.
Correct. Yeah. Whole foods, plant-based, and lots of vegetables and greens and fruits so that you fill up your stomach with fiber.
Yeah. That's wonderful. So let's go on to number two. So number two is moving away from physical inactivity and moving towards regular exercise or yoga asanas.
Right, yeah. So it turns out that we have slow movements. That's when we exercise our body better.
Hmm.
Okay. It doesn't have to be really rapid movements. So slow movements, like yogasana is go through these different poses. So I normally do a sun salutation every morning, which is 10 different poses that exercise. They basically compress and expand every part of your body. So
Good way to
you're
start.
exercising. You're basically exercising all your joints and all your
Hmm.
muscles. Right?
Yeah.
And then I do 10 sets of those poses. And then I hold one pose for 6 minutes, which is the plank pose.
Hmm.
Okay. And that builds the core muscles in my body. So I noticed that it not only builds the core strength physically, it also builds the core strength mentally, emotionally, and spiritually,
Hmm.
right? Because holding a position for 6 minutes, it's mental torture, okay? So
Especially
which
the
means if you,
last 2 minutes, right? The last 2 minutes.
right, because your mind is saying, why do you have to keep doing this? And I said, no, you do it because I am your boss, not the other way around.
Yeah, because if you, that funny thing is though, if you let that mind be your boss, then the sugar and the nuts and all that stuff,
Right,
you're eating that too.
correct, yeah.
Oh
So
dear.
it's good exercise, when you hold a same pose for a long time. It's good mental exercise as well to tell your mind that you are the servant of the heart, not the other way
Mm,
around.
that's beautiful.
Okay,
Yeah.
right? So it builds that mental strength and also it builds the emotional core
Yeah,
because you're able to maintain equanimity going through that every day.
that's
Right?
wonderful. Yeah.
So that's the second thing. Physical activity has to be done on a regular basis. So I spend 12 minutes doing that every day. So 6 minutes for my 10 sets of sun salutations and 6 minutes for the plank pose.
That's wonderful because it's not long. You get it done at the beginning of your day so you can kind of check it off and then I think it puts you in a good mind state for the rest of your day as well.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
Wonderful. So let's move on to number three. So number three is let's not smoke, moving away
Right.
from smoking and moving to conscious breathing in pranayama.
Yeah. Pranayama is slow breathing. Again, it turns out that when you do things slowly, you're basically raising the awareness and you're being present in your body, right? So when I do the yoga, I take slow breaths for every pose. So if it's a stretching pose, I take an inward breath. If it's a compression pose, I take an outward breath. Right? So this way, the 10 poses are accompanied by slow breathing,
Mm.
right? And pranayama, it turns out this slow breathing, so conscious breathing, is a way to also raise your energy levels
Mm.
in your body. Because you'll notice when you breathe slowly like that, that normally you take only shallow breaths. And conscious breathing brings you into the present, slows down everything around you.
Mm.
So I suggest that's the opposite of smoking. And it is not there in the lifestyle pillars, the 6 pillars of lifestyle medicine, right? So that's the one addition that comes in when you take
Yeah, which
this
is a
and you
wonderful.
do the opposite. Now, from the fourth one, which is lack of health screening, I say it is regular health routines is the opposite of that. Eat right, do the exercise on a regular basis. So I do 12 minutes a day, every day. Okay, do the conscious breathing on a regular basis. I also do meditation on a regular basis. So this way, when you have these regular habits, that's like a health check on a daily basis. How are you feeling?
Right.
Okay. And you'll observe in anything in your body that is not up to par. And if you need to go get it tested, you can do that. And I also do annual checkups, right? When I come to India, I do my
Mhm.
annual checkups. So this way, you have regular health routines,
It's
which is
interesting
it.
too, Dr. Rao, because when you do those regular health routines, just myself, for example, I may wake up a little grumpy or kind of groggy, but then if you just get into the habit of having something that you do in the morning to wake your body up
Mhm.
to to get your mind more in control and things like that, then it's awesome how it could just trigger a very happy feeling and it brings about such a better day afterward.
Absolutely. It's like, brushing your teeth. I mean,
Right.
imagine
Yeah.
the first, how did they convince us to, everybody has to brush their teeth in the morning, right?
Yeah.
It's a regular routine we do. It's
Yeah.
similar to that. You think your mind is not more important than your teeth.
Yeah. So true.
So we have to do these regular routines to basically brush our mind and to tone our
Hmm.
body. It's
Yeah.
not just your teeth.
Yeah.
So you need to do more than your teeth.
Yeah.
So, and it's not that long, right? So I'm saying it's like 12 minutes for me. I'm sure, other people have come up with shorter routines. Whatever
Mm.
routines they are, stick to them so that you
Yeah.
do them on a regular basis. And each
Nice.
one of us will find our own niche. That's what is the right thing to do.
Yeah.
So
That
that's
that
the
goes
fourth
right
one.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that goes right into number five because it's when we do those routines, we move away from poor stress management and then to meditation and awareness in what you call
right. Yeah.
dhyana. Is that how you pronounce it? Dhyana?
Dhyana.
Dhyana.
Yeah, dhyana. Yeah. So it's basically it is meditation on a regular basis, being aware of yourself, aware of
Mm,
your role, aware of what you have to do during the day.
that's
Okay,
wonderful.
and come into a positive frame of mind. So you're always looking ahead for the well-being of all life. So without a positive frame of mind, you cannot execute.
So true. Yeah.
Right. So that's that. Number 5 is meditation and awareness. It's the opposite of poor stress management.
Can you talk a little bit more about that positive mindset? It's so important because if you do those first four, it builds up into that positive
Correct.
mindset for the
Yeah.
day. And why is that so important for us?
Well, whatever you focus on, however you project your presence in the world, gets amplified.
Right.
Okay. So if you have a negative frame of mind, you're seeing the negative side of things because there is always negative and positive around you.
All right.
So if you just focus on the negative things that are going on, you amplify that in the universe.
All right.
Because people are hearing you say these negative things and they're repeating that. That's the amplification that happens. Okay. So you become a source of negative energy that spreads out through the world. So I'd rather be a source of positive energy that spreads throughout the world. I'm looking at the negative side of what's going on. I'm looking at the positive side of what's going on. And I choose to promote the positive side of what's going on, right? I choose to promote the positive perception of things. Okay? Because then you're highlighting the good things that are going on, and then others will also highlight that, and that gets amplified.
All right.
So this is why it's so important, if you want a healthy planet, to show the positive side of all things that are going on around you.
Yeah.
But then you amplify the positive side of it. I mean, think about it. Our planet is amazing. Okay?
It is.
Despite everything we have done, despite all the chemical pollution we put into the environment, all of that stuff, there is still oxygen. There is still photosynthesis working. You still have access to water everywhere, right? And so life can still thrive. So why don't we take that and start cleaning up so that it's easier and easier for life to thrive, so instead of highlighting the negative. So that's why I always try to show the positive side of things.
Yeah, and I noticed, Dr. Rao, when you talk to even through these podcasts, when we communicate to be positive, to have hope, because that positivity, as you said, it manifests out into the world, and then they become more interested in what you're saying as well.
Yeah, people want to join a group that's fun, and joyful, who are actually enjoying life, right? So, and that's what we need to become, right? A community that's having fun, constantly, helping life. And then the sixth one is inadequate sleep, right? And I say that if you do the first 5, you will sleep soundly.
It's so true.
Automatically, you improve your sleep cycles when you do that. Of course, there are pathologies that people have to address, but just by doing these first 5 things, you'll sleep soundly.
Right.
Okay. Then 7th is poor standard of care. And the opposite of that, to me, is a sense of purpose.
Right.
Right. So if you have a sense of purpose, you have this mental stability because you know what you have to accomplish.
Yeah.
Right. And so you're motivated. So you have that life energy that's coming out and manifesting through you. And then the last one, excessive alcohol and drug consumption. And the opposite of that is contact with nature.
Right.
Yeah, because excessive alcohol consumption comes from a disconnection with nature. Disconnection not only with nature outside, but nature within you.
Yep.
And so when you're comfortable in your own skin, you really don't need external stimulants.
Yeah, so true.
To feel better. That's what I mean by contact with nature. It's contact with your own nature, with nature around you, and being aware of that. And you will feel it when you go to a forest. You'll literally feel like you won't need alcohol or drugs or anything, but then there is no need for you to get high.
Dr. Rao, in chapter 22, you mentioned at the end that an altruistic sense of purpose towards an objective much larger than ourselves is foundational to human well-being on planet B. So what exactly does that mean?
When you're serving others, as a species, if you're serving other species, or as an individual, you're serving others, you're a lot happier than trying to acquire for yourself. So you need to create a system in which serving others is normalized. And that's this kind of system transformation that we're working on in Planet B. So you have to create a system in which it's normal for you to serve others, right? And because that altruistic motivation makes every one of us a lot happier. This I've found through personal experience. I have no doubt about that. But facilitating that, making it easy for people to do that, it has to come from within each one of us.
Beautiful.
We need to be able to give away our gifts. I think a famous person once said, I don't remember who said it, said, the greatest tragedy is how many humans die with their song still in them.
What's wonderful, Dr. Rao, is that on Planet B, the systematic change, it puts at the fourfold the ability for humans to utilize those gifts given by the divine to create this beautiful planet.
Absolutely. We are called now to bring forth our gifts and to restore the planet, stabilize it and maintain it for the benefit of all life. Look how beautiful the planet is behind me, right? That's planet Earth. Wouldn't you rather heal this and clean it up and make this a livable planet than go off to Mars where there is no blue water?
Yeah.
So think about that, which is what this chapter is all about.
So as we wrap up the chapter, is there any final message you'd like to share with our audience?
Please remember that self-transformation, getting ourselves healthier, is the foundation of all systems transformation. The two go hand in hand. So it's a system in which each one of us is going to get healthier, because as we get healthier, we make the planet healthier. So I look forward to joining you on this journey.
Well, thank you so much, Dr. Rao, and thank you all for joining us for episode 22. Next episode is extremely fascinating. It's one I hope everyone joins us for, and that is chapter 23, Busting the Protein Myth. So thank you all for joining us today, and we hope you join us again soon. Bye.
This has been a podcast from Planet B, where animals aren't resources, just neighbors. If you haven't moved here yet, we thank you for visiting.
Go ahead, Brittany.
In the book, at the end of the chapter, you talk about the altruism, and I was wondering how come you didn't specify which type of altruism this one is?
Which type of altruism?
Yeah.
No, I didn't specify what altruism. I think altruism in general is good for you, what I was referring to.
Am I up next?
Yes.
I'm having a bit of a hard time hearing. Sorry, because I'm just driving right now up north. A few things I thought about with this podcast. A few years ago, when I was teaching a lot of nutrition, I developed a HEAL protocol, and I think it's a really powerful protocol for us for healing. And so the acronym HEAL, the H stands for hydration and homeostasis. The body is always producing, like, I think every few seconds we produce over 200,000 chemicals. So we have this amazing pharmacy within us, and it's always trying to maintain homeostasis. And most of us are chronically dehydrated. And so just really keeping up with electrolyte, fresh food and water is so important. A game changer, really. And the E is energy and electrons. So, and the A is anti-inflammatory alkalinity, and the L is love and light. And I think about what you said is hold the awareness. But one thing I've found, and I know, being in community, especially getting excited and having a lot to do, is, one of the words that came to me when you were speaking was sacred soma. So the soma is like the felt sense of our body, right? Of our beingness. And it is really challenging to stay connected to our soma, to what's happening within us and around us all the time. We've often been trained to focus externally. And so, I really feel with the transformation of self, the importance of really being connected with our soma, just really connected with, because a lot of times I ask people, are you drinking water? They're like, no, I forget. And it's because we're not even really paying attention to ourselves. And I think that's such a challenging thing but a real important call to do. And I tell people to just kind of set your alarm on your phone, and every hour go get a drink of water or something fresh that's full of structured water. Move, stretch a little bit, and deeply breathe for a few minutes. Just 3 or 4 minutes or 5 minutes every hour is enough to kind of keep reminding us. Like Thich Nhat Hanh said, if you want to take any courses that's going to create enlightenment, take the course of consciousness every hour. And so, and then one other thing I thought about is, I remember when I got sick with Crohn's, I was usually a pretty happy person. And when my gut was incredibly inflamed, I was never so sad. And so sometimes asking people to be positive could be very white knuckling. And I really encourage people to look at I call it our earth gut in my book, Earth Gut, the Story of Peace, Love, and Microbes, but to look at our earth gut connection, because there's nothing that makes us happier than to have a lit up microbiome full of good microbes. And a lot of that comes from us eating a whole food plant-based diet, especially a lot of raw food that feeds, because that's all our probiotics. So remember that if we're feeling a little bit sad, sometimes it's biological too, and often it is. And so really get super hydrated and eat food that's going to love you back. As my teacher said, eat only love only food that loves you back.
Good point, Tammy. Thanks, Tammy.
Thanks, Sailesh. Thank you, everyone.
Sure. Brittany, can Toby go first? Do you ask?
Yeah, I'd like to go last.
Sure, no problem.
Sorry. Hello, Dr. Rao. I had a question about, I just saw recently, I think of his name, Cameron Waters, who did the Christspiracy.
Right.
He went on his own version of the Daniel fast, where he just drank water, funnily enough, for about 7 days. And when I think about that, I think, well, he was doing it for like it's kind of like prove a point, that showing a connection to the reason why they do the Daniel fast. I mean, it's just a connection to God, being closer to God, and restricting yourself in a way. But I think if someone's doing something like that when they're already plant-based and being healthy, going that extra mile just to fast on water, I think it's probably taken away some of your health benefits rather than actually being a healthy thing. What do you think about the idea of doing that so you're not being your true full self and being as energetic and as vibrant as you could be, if you know what I mean? So it kind of goes out of these 8 healthy habits and things like that, as far as I can see.
Absolutely. Yeah, you can do fasting is very good for you. You can either do fasting for a few days every month, or you can do like intermittent fasting. Like, I mean, here I'm doing intermittent fasting because, literally I'm getting meals sent to me once a day.
All right.
But sometimes the meals she sends too much, so I keep it for the next day. But then I get 2 meals a day, right? When that happens. Otherwise, it's 1 meal a day. And I find that really makes me think clearly. So my mind is clearer, and it helps me write the book faster. So anyway, fasting is there's a book by Dr. Alan Goldhammer on fasting, where he has shown, the scientific basis for why it's good for you.
I think if you're already, eating really healthily, I've thought of fasting is to cleanse yourself, like your toxins and things. Usually it's good if you've been, unhealthy for a very long time and you start to eat healthy. And then maybe you can start to think about fasting to get them toxins out. But if you've been,
Right.
vegan, whole food vegan for, many years, I think them toxins are probably already all come out anyway. But
Well, we
maybe,
are marinated in it, like I'm breathing the air in Mumbai, and it is quite bad.
yeah,
Right,
yeah, I'd imagine. Kills a lot of people.
right.
Yeah, that's my only point really. It's just an interesting thing to see him do. And he's finished now, but yeah, I've never done fasting, but because I always think it's probably best to keep my energy up more through, eating lots of greens and stuff like that. And but and I was just thinking as well when I was taking the course, it made me think of Dr. Michael Greger, and he shows like 14 of the 15 biggest killers can be prevented with eating adopting a healthy diet and lifestyle,
Right.
which is absolutely remarkable. And I think that 14, that one which it can't, help, which is accidental death, which,
Right.
so, which is
Yeah,
just
other than the
unfortunate.
accidental death.
Yeah.
Right. So that's also there in the list of 15 chronic conditions that ACLM had listed. And so most of those are directly because of our lifestyle.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. And they pointed out that those conditions are responsible for 90% of the healthcare costs worldwide. So you can literally shrink the healthcare economy by a factor of 10 if everybody gets healthy.
So when I was researching, when I was doing this episode, editing it, I was looking to see where that number had come from, and the graph used on the website. And I think I managed to send the link that I found into the chat. I don't know if you had time to see it or anyone's opened it, but it says it's 80 instead of 90.
Is that right? Apparently it's 90 in US.
In the US, yeah.
Yeah, because so that I think they may have mixed the statistic for US and then they said worldwide, but it's really, I know that there's a CDC paper saying it's 90%.
And sorry.
No, send me the paper that says 80% because then I can quote that.
Yeah, I'll send it in the. I'll send it to you.
Okay, perfect.
But it came out in 2012, did it?
Which one? The CDC?
Yeah, the American College of
Lifestyle Medicine. That was
Lifestyle
2023.
2023. All right, okay. Well, that's showing the 6 pillars, was it? Not
No,
the 8.
I mean the 8 risky behaviors was a graphic they put out in 2023.
Oh, was it? All right.
Yeah.
Oh. I'll have to look for it.
Yeah.
I couldn't find the 8 risky behaviors on their actual website. Maybe they've taken it down now with what's going on with Trump or whatever.
Could be.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Anyway, thanks.
Ray.
Thanks for this message, Dr. Rao. It's an important message for those reaching the people around us who are reluctant to move towards something new, because we have a natural caution of, what's going to do, right? What are the unknown effects? And it feels like responsibility in addition to our existing burdens. But if you ask people if there's something that they would move away from, then you've got a conversation. You got lots of feedback of what's wrong in the world and what needs correction. I was thinking that the Pleasure Trap is a book by a couple of doctors, vegan doctors, that focuses entirely on the motivational triad, and we're kind of all around that. And but that's described as we move towards pleasure, away from pain, and we conserve energy. The first are obvious as everything. You almost don't even need to say it. But that third one of conserving energy is a fascinating one, because it has so much of the effects of what happens in the world. And I think our systems that want to preserve themselves are very aware of that instinct, that everybody just wants to keep their head down, mind their own business. And hey, those vegans, they can keep their head down, mind their own business, and keep their mouth shut, because I'm tired of listening to them, and because they're telling me that I have to do something different. But the thing that we want them to do different is going to fix all the things that they find wrong in the world. They don't want to believe that, as much as we say it. They will eventually discover that this is true, because the truth isn't going anywhere.
Right.
And it's two sides of the same coin, and sometimes you have to turn the coin and talk about the other side in order to motivate people.
Yeah.
I wonder if that's an aspect that would be worthwhile incorporating into these presentations, or do a future podcast about
the motivational triad.
Yeah.
I think I did write about it in the book. I don't remember which chapter, because I remember researching it. And it is, we don't realize that a little bit of supposed pain, even the Buddha said, change is not painful. Resisting change is painful. We don't realize that. We are resisting change, because basically nature is saying, if you do this, you'll be healthy. Come along. And we are resisting that. We are fighting her. And that's painful. And then
that's a powerful thought for.
Yeah.
Sorry, that's a powerful thought for vegans. We have a moment, and we often talk about when we decided to go vegan, the pathway to going vegan, how long that path was, or how short that path was. And that's an exercise that we can always go back and think of the forces that were at work. And the resistance to changing was more painful than the actual changing. That's absolutely true for me. I don't know if anybody else wants to weigh in on that.
Right. That's Buddha. Buddha's observation was that. He said change is not painful, but resistance to change is painful. Yeah.
The pleasure trap is also an aspect that I think about all the time in the context of food and what it is. The pleasure trap that's set for us is that narrative that says that food has to be entertaining. It's part of your identity. When food is part of your identity, you can't change it.
Correct.
Unless you're willing to that new identity, you're ready for that new identity. I've heard people who either refuse to be vegan or have quit being vegan because they don't like the definition of vegan. They don't like the belongingness of what veganism is. And yet they quite frequently are eating a whole food plant-based diet, or at least not eating any animals. If they had any ethical compunctions about it at all, they still don't do it. that the thing that they can't swallow is the identity.
You're right.
And it
Yeah.
seems to suggest that there's, I mean, it's a responsibility. Veganism, as soon as you're committed to it, it changes a lot of things in your life. And the system was saying, no, don't do that. Come back, come back. It's much more simpler here. You're hurting yourself with all the
Right.
changes you're making to your life. Don't you feel it? You feel it? Yeah.
Yeah.
But thank you for everybody who's here, because we're clearly motivated. We're doing things, even if it's passive listening. Everybody else is on TikTok.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Basically, this is, we are discussing the people are getting signals from nature. Okay, we are getting all kinds of signals from nature, and there are painful signals that are coming from nature. She's burning houses. She's, dropping a whole bunch of water on people. I mean, those things are painful. When that happens, right? But why is that painful? Because we are resisting the change that needs to be done, which is to become a compassionate society.
I'm always fascinated by the things that we need to do on a global level tend to be the things we need to do on a personal level.
Right.
That I find when somebody's talking about a corporation, this is a pain point in this organization. A corporation is a body, and it has pain. And a lot of the advice to fix those pains are exactly the same things to fix at a micro level on your life, or on the macro level at the global humanity and all the things that
Right.
that we need. And maturity is the most interesting one, because solving the Anthropocene is finding maturity to be the species that we have to be, that we always wanted to be, but now we have to.
Right. We have to be, but it's also okay. The fact that there is resistance to change, and it's part of our character as a species. We are the biggest herd animal in the world. Remember, 8 billion of us doing exactly the same thing. Buying into this concept of money. That's what made us so powerful that we can even change the life support systems. We wouldn't have been able to do that otherwise. Okay? So that stick-to-itiveness, the fact that we keep in a herd, no matter what. Now, some members of the herd are saying, hey, let's turn the herd around and go that way, right? And I think it'll eventually happen. It'll happen very quickly, because everybody wants to stay with what is where we are going to be.
And you've created a metaphor of direction. The
Yeah.
ones that are rejecting the right direction are going to hit a wall.
Right.
And I that's a great thing that Climate Healers talks about, because as inconvenient as this truth is, it is a truth. The sooner people understand it, the better. The more that they'll, stop feeling the pain of having to make a decision and going, oh, that was my experience with Cowspiracy. Going, oh, if this is true, then this is the direction that I have to go.
Right.
Starting with me, and then see if we could get a few other people to do it as well.
There you go. Thank you, Ray.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming every day, making it happen. Deepak.
Hey, Dr. Rao, thanks for doing these podcasts again. All it takes, it's like 12 minutes is how it starts, right, to get the strength up, and along with movement, of course. But the question was that I want to ask yesterday as well, was around protein. This protein thing, mother's milk. We know that it has like, I think it's 5.5% protein by percentage, but the whole thing. So the question is that with all these plant-based alternatives, and now there's like cellular agriculture as well. So talking about, so the question we get in activism, that if these foods are so bad, then why you are trying to replicate it? Why are we trying to play the meat, the animal
Right.
agriculture industry's game? Yeah, so that's kind of the question.
Yeah. Yeah, they want us to play their game. And so that they can squash us. They can say, hey, see, that's highly processed, ultra processed.
Yeah,
It's
that's
not good for you and things like. But you could argue it's still better than what they're producing, because they're producing horrible things. Okay, because it not only has the same kind of protein that's going to cause you cancer, but it also has all kinds of chemical pollution that won't be there in the plant-based versions of it.
yeah.
Right? And it doesn't have any saturated fat, or I mean, most of them don't have saturated fat. Definitely have no cholesterol. Okay? And the plant-based food will have some fiber at least. You're not going to be able to take it all out. So in many ways, even the processed vegan meats are better than the animal versions of it. But I did ask Dr. Colin Campbell once, because he ran all these experiments with animal protein, and he showed that with 20% animal protein, you can get cancer cells to replicate in a test tube. Okay? Cancer cells replicate like crazy when you give it more than 20% protein, animal protein. So I asked him, if we constitute a plant version of the animal protein and make it have the same amino acid profile so that it's identical, will it do the same thing? And he said yes. So we go through all this trouble to make plant food taste and have the same nutrition profile as animal food, just so that we can get cancer. So makes no sense, right?
Yeah, maybe choose keep food as function and choose something else for entertainment, maybe that's, or just focus on our life purpose so we don't sort of dull ourselves with food. That's another option.
Yeah. And I mean, we are the ones who need the least amount of protein. We don't really need even 20. Apparently, the World Health Organization recommends 6% of our calories should be protein. And Doug Graham is saying 10%. Now, of course, that's for the normal people, 6%. If you are a weightlifter and you are trying to build muscle, yeah, I mean, you need to eat more protein. Okay. We're not saying, but then we don't have to take that person's diet and make it standard for everybody, because our body has to remove the excess protein that we're eating. Okay? And it takes a lot of effort to do that. And you need to drink a lot of water to do that, because it has to turn it all into uric acid and send it out the urine.
Yeah, one thing that Doug Graham says, if you eat more calories, which you will do if you're a weightlifter, then anyways the grams of protein will go higher. So I think,
right.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you, Deepak. We'll go into more details in the next episode, because the next episode is about protein. Ram?
Yeah, I have a quick question. It's about spices. I noticed you used that word. So, as far as local use or where you're coming from, of course, in Holland, they went especially east to get all these spices because that is not possible in Holland. But my question is about health. Is it healthy for people who come from the West, to eat a lot of spices, or is that just more for people who are originally coming from the East?
We all came from Africa, Binaka. We all had access to spices until some of us went to Europe and didn't have access anymore. So
yeah, but I'm talking about health.
I know,
right
I have
now?
twice too. Spices have a
Really?
lot of micronutrients that
Okay.
you need. And uh, so this is why, we were trading in spices, right? The spice route has been going on for thousands of years.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
people have
Oh,
been trading on that. Yeah.
okay. Because my daughter-in-law is from Malaysia,
Hmm.
and she uses norms. Everything is too spicy for
Too
for
spicy. Okay. Yeah.
so that's why it's sort of like a family thing here.
Right, right,
So,
right. No, I'm when you say spicy, then you're referring to just chilies.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm not saying you should eat a lot of chilies. And,
Okay.
yeah,
Okay.
that is whatever you can taste. That's for
Okay.
taste.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
you need to eat the other spices like
Okay.
cumin and turmeric, and these are good for you.
Yeah. 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 Thank you. That's really very helpful. Yeah.
Right.
I had also a question, namely, maybe misunderstood it, but you said that the same thing if you would put all the ingredients together chemically to completely have a plant.
Yeah.
That it would be similar to if you eat the plant, but I don't believe so. It's like in physics where you put things first, take it apart, and then put it together. The spirit or whatever it is not there anymore. So there must be a big difference actually between them.
Now, I was repeating what Colin Campbell told me. I asked him this question. If you
Yeah.
make a synthetic protein that is identical to casein, he was using casein as the protein for his experiments. So he would give 20% protein in the form of casein, and he could get cancer cells multiplying in the laboratory. Below 20%, they don't. It's very funny, It's like you see a very steep rise in the multiplication of cancer cells around the 20% range. So if you give it 10% protein, they don't do that. And then 20% of plant protein, it didn't do that. Okay. And the plant protein, he was using some plant protein, some bean protein or something like that. So I said, instead of the bean protein, if I gave you a constituted version of the plant protein that's like casein, because you can make something like casein in the lab with plants. With processing, you can make it. And he said, no, then it'll behave exactly like the animal protein does for multiplying cancer cells.
Yeah, but otherwise you say it's the same thing if you prepare food. If you do it with love and with interaction, the food will be much better for you. It's the spirit also what comes in there.
I see. Yeah.
So that's so this. I think it's very important.
Right. I hear you. I hear you.
Yeah, okay, good. Thank you.
Yeah. Toby?
I was talking about protein. It made me think about. I heard Dr. Michael Reger talking about petri dish studies showing how like meat and animal products, the actual proteins would go on actual. I think they had human cells in a dish and a cancer cell, and the animal products actually go on fuel and grow the cancer cell. And then there's certain different types of plant foods like garlic, for example. There's specific proteins that'll actually go and amino acids and actually go and attack the cancer cell as well. And all different types of cancers for all different types of plant foods attack different types of cancers. And it's absolutely fascinating that we can actually see that happen. It's not actually, we can't actually replicate it in a human yet, but we have it in actual petri dish settings. And it just goes to show like how important these foods are for us. I was going to say, ask you about What do you think one of the reasons could be for people who don't like to associate the idea of veganism with climate change or environmental impact? Even vegans really don't like to associate it too much.
Yeah.
Their main objective is to focus on animal rights and things.
Yeah.
Maybe some kind of I don't know, philosophical idea or something, if you've got one.
Yeah. No, regardless of whether they want to talk about it, they don't want to associate it with it or not, the connection is there.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, all I'm pointing out is that it is undeniable that it uses this much land. Okay? It's undeniable that on that land we have cut half the trees on the planet. And it's undeniable that if you return those trees, you can reverse climate change. This is not a complicated logic train to follow.
Oh.
Okay, this is not that you have to do deep research to understand this. Now, if you want to hide from it and not mention it and not take not talk about it, that's up to you. I'm not going to force people to speak about things, but I will continue to speak about it till the day I die. Right? I'll continue to speak about it at every opportunity, because that's the only way, that's the only route I see helping us get out of this mess.
I'm with you there,
Restoring those
Sailesh.
trees. Yeah,
I'm the
restoring
same
those
way.
trees. I know. We have to keep at it. We have to keep at it, because it's self-evident. It's like it's like a huge elephant sitting there that people don't want to talk about. Doesn't matter if you want to talk about it or not, it's there. There is a solution to climate change if you really want to solve it. Right? Yeah.
Except I went to a vegan camp out and I was talking to lots of big influencers that were there, and they were saying it's the last thing on the list they want to talk about. And I was like, I'm trying to tell them, like, it's really important. Why don't you want to talk about it? I mean, starts to get a bit frustrated. So I was like,
yeah, it brings a sense of urgency to this vegan movement. Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and you're missing out on that because the other thing, ethics. I understand the ethics argument, and I know that it's horrific what's going on. We are monsters to the animals, but people can say, well, we've been doing that for 15 years. 10,000 years. What's the hurry? This one, there's a hurry. You're hitting a wall right there.
They're missing the idea that all the animals that are dying, wild animals that are dying at the same time as these farmed animals, it like triples it even more. I don't know, tenfold or something.
It makes it absolutely imperative that we do this. And that's the reason why I'm saying it. We're going to be largely vegan by the very, very soon, because we have no choice.
Yeah,
you can say, I don't want to hear it. I don't want to talk about it. No, you're missing out on the fact that you have no choice but to do this. Yeah. I wish the vegan movement would be more educated on this, because it's not that hard to understand.
If you can get on the vegan camp out, because they were saying they would have me on, but I wasn't prepared really to. I was just about to take the course on climate healers. I wanted to have something to back me up. But if we can get on there on this one of the main stages talking about it, I think we could get a lot of people go, and you're making a lot of connections too. But
I'm happy to do that. When is it? When is the vegan camp out?
Yeah, when it was. I think the vegan camp out.
It's July, I think. July, end of July, I believe. UK.
When? Yeah, August.
July, August? Okay.
Maybe it's July or August, yeah.
We are already planning something in Bangladesh around that time. So maybe I'll come back
to
vegan.
You can get tents up and stuff as well. So we can have like a, climate healers tent and everything. That's really cool. Have a little climate healers party.
Let's do it. Let's do it. We have to go all out this year.
Yeah. I'm there.
Yeah.
So, thank you.
Thank you.
So it's August 14th. This time it's a bit late.
August 14th. Okay.
To 17th.
17th. All right. Amit?
The house is burning, but we're still sitting in the glow. Phones charged, lights on, pretending we don't know. But the forest is silent, the river's running low, and the flame on our plates is the strongest fire we throw. Put out the fire, put out the fire. Echoes and rise, this is your hour. 7 boundaries broken, the earth pushed past the line. Climate, land, species, fresh water, chemicals, nutrients, oceans in decline. Not danger, disaster in real time. Put out the fire, ooh, put out the fire. Metaphorians rise, this is your power. And here in India, one truth stands the same. Milk is not just milk, dairy feeds the flame. Cows and methane, fields and forests turn to grain. Politics, culture, carbon, all wired to the same chain. Every cup of curd is heat in the air. Every block of butter is a forest repair. It's not a small habit, it's a planetary affair. Put out the fire, put out the fire. Echoes and rise, this is our hour. Energy fixes half the hurt, Dr. Rao made that clear. But food fixes the other half, the half that's burning here. Change the plate, change the land, change the future's atmosphere. Put out the fire, put out the fire. Metaphorians unite, this is your choir. Every millet, every fruit, every sapseed, every bean is water on the wildfire of a world we've never seen. Every oil-free bite is a river turning clean. This is not perfection, it's direction. Not pressure, but protection. A week of choices can cool a generation. A company's courage can ignite a nation. Put out the fire, ooh, put out the fire. Echoes and rise, this is your hour. Metaphorians unite, Metaphorians ignite, sharing love in the metazone, lighting the path to a cooler home. Put out the fire, ooh, put out the fire. Together we rise, together we